thank you for taking your time to speak here and provide your insight. I do have to say that your energy and interest in this topic is admirable, but in my opinion, you have egregiously misused your interest and talents to back a short-sighted and immoral industry. You've spoken on the immediacy and current availability of fossil fuels and the slow progression of alternative energy sources, but what is the harm of erring on the side of caution and progression? You should, if anything, be talking about how aggressively we need to be attacking the issue of climate change and how we need fossil fuels to create those industries. As a first world country, we have both the ability and moral obligation to move the first world towards cleaner forms of energy.
All right, so I think my talk mostly addressed that. So what do I want to say about? I mean, I think that what I'll address is this issue of, I think, caution, because it's often viewed as, well, let's do the. So what I want to say is, I'm in favor of energy freedom, including eliminating subsidies. So I want free people to pursue alternatives, particularly nuclear is the most criminalized one. I want them to pursue that, and I want people to pursue solar and wind intelligently, although there are many reasons why one shouldn't be too optimistic about their prospects. But I want people to pursue better forms of energy, and I advocate the freedom to do that. But that's different than saying that would be nice is different than saying that we have an emergency and that it's caution to not use fossil fuels. So I just want to repeat the core idea that energy is our ability to use machines to improve every aspect of our lives, including our environment, and that fossil fuels are by far the lowest cost way of producing it. So if you talk about let's be cautious and make energy more expensive for billions of people, that's like saying, let's be cautious and ruin everyone's life. If that is the least cautious thing you could ever do, is restrict fossil fuels. It's like, let's say, I mean, here's an example that would make more sense, but is more obviously egregious. Like antibiotic resistance, that's a thing I am much more afraid of than man-made climate influence. Like, that's a real thing that's creeping up on us, I believe, where just the bugs are overcoming the drugs, and we're, I think, way too focused on climate, so we're not paying attention to stuff like this. Like getting an infection that's not curable by antibiotics, that is scary. And there's a lot of overuse of antibiotics that cause unnecessary side effects. But you wouldn't say, oh, let's be cautious and not use antibiotics, because you'd say that will cut short billions of people's lives. And so it's the same with fossil fuels. If you realize, I hope that you get from tonight that low cost, reliable energy is just as crucial to life as antibiotics or vaccines. And in a sense, it's more crucial because without those, we won't have antibiotics and vaccines for long.
Can I speak on the bacterial resistance?
I don't think it's okay, quickly, but, and then we'll have to wrap up.
Science is already pretty aggressively moving towards the use of bacteriophages to fight bacteria infections. So science is already moving towards something more reliable, more sustainable, and for the future in that regard. So why can't we just do that?
But okay.
So I don't know the details of it, but that's great, and I'm glad people are paying more attention to it than it appears. But the point is that, my point is not that you don't, so my point is you want to progress, but you want to progress in a way that's actually responsible, which means you don't deprive people of values now. So the way to progress on antibiotics is to maximize the benefits people get in fighting bacteria now and in the future. It's not to disempower them of their ability to fight infection and say that that's cautious. So fortunately, unlike antibiotics, fossil fuels have far fewer long-term side effects, and they have these amazing benefits. So I think that we should very happily, we should happily use them, but we should really be championing them. And I hope that, among other things, you get sort of the big picture idea that fossil fuels are making the world a better and better place, but also the more method point that whenever we're looking at anything, we need to look at the full impact. We need to carefully weigh the benefits and the side effects, and that most of even the very smart people in our culture are not doing that at all. And that's how it's possible for many smart people to get things wrong, is they have a bad thinking method. That's been true throughout history. Smart people with bad thinking methods make huge mistakes. And so I think we're having bad thinking methods on energy, and you all can bring better thinking methods, hopefully applying some of what you've used tonight. So again, thank you for having me, and it's been fun.